Hi everyone, Leanne O'Shea here from Leaders Being Leaders. It's great to be with you today with the community resource centres all over this great state. Today's subject matter, which you should have a detailed manual workbook, and of course we're going to spend a good half an hour together discussing this topic, personal responsibility. So why are we discussing personal responsibility today, and does it relate to you? Well, taking personal responsibility just in the workplace is going to make a huge difference to not only your enjoyment in the workplace and your productivity, but also make a huge difference to your personal life. So what is personal responsibility? Well, it's about taking care of oneself, whether it's your health, your mindset, your emotions, the way that you respect yourself. But also too, personal responsibility is taking responsibility for your actions, accepting the consequences come from those actions and understanding that what you do impacts those around you. So have you ever considered personal responsibility in every aspect of your life? I thought it was important just to quickly share with you a personal story of mine. When I started, was going from year 10 into year 11, my family situation changed and Mum could no longer look after us. So I moved out of home, I had my own unit, 2 part-time jobs, and finished year 11 and 12 on my own. Why do I share that with you? Is that it took personal responsibility. It was a choice that I made to continue to finish school. Now, I could have listened to everybody else and finished school and gone and worked in Coles, but I knew what I wanted for myself. I took personal responsibility to find a way to make it work. I wasn't the victim of my circumstances. I made a choice to step up and see what I could do to finish school. It really is that simple. So it was a simple choice to take personal responsibility for my life, even at such a young age. And I'm not saying it was easy, but I made that choice. So when personal responsibility is defined as a person's response ability, that is that the ability of a person to maturely respond to the various challenges, circumstances of life. So let's move on to what we're going to achieve, not only out of today's short workshop, but also in the detailed manual that you have available to you. So we're going to be aware of the importance of accepting what is to reduce stress and worry in our life, and to build and maintain a sense of control over the things that we can control. Choosing to prefer an outcome rather than requiring it to be a certain way. Knowing that every decision is a choice. Understanding that no one can make you feel a certain way. Also, we're going to look at clarifying your values so that you live in alignment with those values and who you are. Making decisions that support your goals and your purpose. Holding yourself accountable for the way that you feel, think, and what you say and how you act. Being responsible for your results and how you choose to live your life. That's what taking personal responsibility is all about. Now, I've shared this concept with you so many times, so I won't go over it again, but the 70-20-10 principle, again, is taking personal responsibility for your learning experience. Taking personal responsibility to be open to learning something new and applying it. Only by applying it can we see results, can we make the changes that we need to. So again, looking at personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is a sign of true personal leadership. It means being accountable for the way we think, say and do. It involves working on our character and skill development rather than blaming others for situations and circumstances. It means making choices that support and honour our values and purpose. So throughout the workbook, the manual and today, you'll hear me use many terminologies like self-acceptance, accountability, not blaming others, our attitude, the enormous amount of choices that we have in life, empowerment, mindset, not being the victim, and what it means to be at the cause and effect of life. So why is personal responsibility so important? Well, personal responsibility is an important factor that affects every aspect of a person's life. Your achievements in life are determined by your personal beliefs in self, the dreams you have and the actions you take to make these dreams reality. So there are many things individuals cannot control. We cannot control everything, and people tend to look for a way that they can take the blame off themselves. So personal responsibility does not mean that you can control everything that happens. What it does mean, though, that you can control how you respond to certain situations. So it's a source of strength to know that you have a say in your life in all circumstances. So although there are many aspects of life that we cannot control, maintaining a high level of personal responsibility in one's life can help ensure that success, no matter what you are attempting, can be achieved. So what is your internal map of reality? Have you heard of that concept before? Well, your internal map of reality is your beliefs, your values, and your experiences. And they then form the strategies and the decisions and the actions that you take in life. But it's also important to understand how that works, and that is from the moment you've entered your life, your subconscious mind has been busy collecting and processing information. Your mind from a very early age takes snapshots of everything it observes and hears, and it takes on that information. So as you can imagine, from a young age, everything you observed, the environment in which you lived in, the experiences that you had, what you were told to be true, has created your map of reality. If you choose to fully understand this process, you can change it. So as we experience life, we look for information that supports what we know. So we can delete and distort and also generalise information to ensure that we continue to believe what we've always believed. So let me put that into context. If you were brought up in a very negative environment where it was always criticising people, then naturally all those snapshots of when you saw people being criticised or you were living in a negative environment has been a part of your belief system. It is all that you know, and it's the environment in which you lived in. So as you get older, without even realising, your subconscious mind naturally can be critical, can blame and criticise people. And you tend to attract or stay with people that behave in the same way. You may look at someone who's very positive and reason or delete why they are the way they are and not realise that you're behaving in a negative manner. But if we really understand the process of how the mind works and why we behave a certain way, we can change it. So another example is that if you're someone who smokes, you've always generalised it that your parents smoked and they're healthy and fit, or you might distort the information or just delete some information by removing yourself from a lounge room when the smoking campaign ad comes on, or think that you can justify it by saying that you only smoke 3 cigarettes a day. It's a part of your conditioning and you can find reasons to think that it's okay, but deep down one of your values might be to live a healthy life. So your map of reality is everything that you've absorbed throughout your life through your beliefs and experience and thoughts and how you've processed it into your subconscious mind. So there is so much information on this great subject, and I do encourage you to refer back to the manual. I hope I've explained it properly, but let me share with you again that because these beliefs are based on your evaluation and your emotional conclusions of your personal experiences, they are accepted by your subconscious as being absolutely true. So your subconscious mind then uses these personal truths to construct your personal version of what your real world looks like. So in other words, your beliefs become the foundation of your internal map of reality. So like I shared with you, is that you can change this process once you fully understand it. So let's move on to you are the creator of your world. Like I shared with you, is that our map of reality is everything that we've believed to be true up to this day, from everything that we have learnt, the people we've been around, and what we've believed to be true. But like I've probably shared with you before in many broadcasts, is you are who you hang around. So let me share with you again, you are the creator of your world. So although in personal development training, these statements, although very true, when something in real life happens and we naturally want to blame people, even people that are trained in understanding the true meaning of what life can be for us, is that we still naturally want to blame people, but trying to convince yourself and others that you are not responsible for what is happening in life will not help you. So let's stop the blame game and take personal responsibility for our life. And it really is a necessary process. So the power in personal responsibility is that external causes no longer produce internal reactions. So let me share that with you again. The power of personal responsibility is that external causes no longer produce internal excuses or reactions. So personal responsibility restores your choice on how you want to react to people or events. So our manual that we've produced for you on this great subject is over 100 pages, and there's many things that are included in this manual, including lots of details on the law and effect of life, the solution mindset, overcoming adversity, the freedom of responsibility, taking responsibility for who you will become, whether that's in the workplace or in your own personal life, living responsibly, and the law of attraction and personal responsibility. So again, I really encourage you to be open to learning something new. Take the manual, take it home and constantly take it out and read a chapter at least once a month, and just see if you start to open your mind to something new. So what is the law of cause and effect? Until you accept that you create your experience of the world, including every happiness and suffering, you're at the effect side of cause and effect equation. So the law of an effect states that absolutely everything happens for a reason. All actions have consequences and produce specific results. So as do all inactions. So the choices that you make are the causes in life, whether they are conscious or unconscious, and will produce corresponding outcomes or effects. The law works the same for everyone, all the time. So whichever decision you make becomes the cause, and the effect is the result of what you have chosen. So before we move on to the next slide, I'm going to share something with you and do something different today and show you something on the whiteboard. So like I shared with you, we're going to do something different and fun today, and I want to share with you that the role of integrity in living responsibly. Does everyone understand what it means to live with integrity? It's really important for me to live with integrity, so I want to share with you what it means. So let's start by living with integrity is understanding your core values. When we know what our core values are, we know what we believe, and when we know what we believe and what is important to us, that's how we behave and act. When we're living true to our core values, we are living with integrity. Now, it's not to say we're all human, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we can live without integrity. And one of them I'll share with you, one of my core values, what I truly believe is that we shouldn't talk negatively of anybody. But I'm human at the same time, and I can engage in conversations sometimes that's not really appropriate, and it could involve talking negatively of somebody else. But because I'm aware of my core values, I go out of alignment of my own integrity, but because I'm aware of it, I have the choice. I take that personal responsibility to self-correct. But for someone who doesn't know their core values and doesn't behave to what they believe and what they truly value, then it's really difficult to live with integrity. And they could be behaving in such a certain way that it takes them to a point of getting down here that someone tells them that it's inappropriate to behave that way, and then they have a choice to self-correct. But also what I want to share with you is that we cannot believe that it's essential to have good work ethics and to produce great results in the workplace and enjoy our work if we don't like our job. We're not living with integrity, we're not living to our values. So, and that can create blame, frustration, anger, disappointment, which of course is going to affect our beliefs in who we should be in the workplace. So we have that choice to self-correct that and make a decision to make changes in our life to make sure that we are doing a job that we love. So this is a really easy diagram to understand what it means to live with integrity. If you know your core values, if you know what you believe and what's important to you, then that will demonstrate in your behaviour and the way that you act. And of course, like I shared with you, we're all human and we make mistakes, but with self-awareness and taking full responsibility for our actions, we can self-correct it. So I hope you've enjoyed that quick demonstration of why it's so important to understand integrity and to live with integrity. So let's move on to the rest of the presentation on personal responsibility. So let me remind you, to live responsibly, you must act with integrity. To live responsibly, your beliefs and actions must be in harmony with your values no matter what. It doesn't even matter what your mother, your spouse, or even society thinks. Be your authentic self, know what your values are, and live with integrity. So let's move on now. Personal responsibility does not mean that you have to take personal responsibility for everything that happens in the world. We obviously can't control the weather, accidents, and other people's behaviour. But the key to taking personal responsibility for everything you know that you can control, and refuse to take responsibility for other people's actions and things that you can't control. So you make these decisions rationally and with full consciousness. Once you identify what you can control, you must practice being active about those situations. So living responsibly means focusing on you, the individual. Take personal responsibility for who you want to become. So I encourage you to read page 3 in the manual. It has a great content on empowerment and a list of choice. That's the subject heading, and I think you'll find it really informative. So self-acceptance and personal responsibility. Self-acceptance is about being your authentic self. So choosing to live a life full of satisfying experiences, happiness, joy and fulfillment really does require consciousness awareness and is known as being self-actualized. Now self-actualized is actually from Abraham Maslow, and he's actually the founder of this motivational theory, which is about being the best that you can be. So in order to be self-actualized, you need to have a strong self of self-acceptance and understanding of who you are. You will need to be assertive, to know what you want, and to not be afraid to ask for it. You will need to work through your limiting beliefs and confront them to ensure that the beliefs you hold are true and are also serving you. So you'll need to have a positive outlook on life in order to overcome obstacles and adversities that come up in life, and also to maintain your own well-being. So how you see yourself really will determine how you see others. So it's always easy to scrutinise the actions of others and the attitudes of others. However, to analyse your own thoughts and behaviours takes much more effort. Now, Leaders Being Leaders is all about self-awareness, and self-awareness can benefit you in every area of life. Self-awareness and emotional intelligence are important factors in accepting personal responsibility for your relationship with yourself as well as the relationship with others. So we can only live a life of substance when we really are living authentically. So it is so important not to be the victim in life And so many people play the blame game. But it's really important to understand why people blame others, and it really is a habit. And there are many reasons why people blame, and once we understand that, it's about people not having control. It's people wanting to control others, and that they've learnt it from their parents, refusing to admit that they are responsible, unable to accept what happened, blaming others and feeling helpless, blaming others for their own problems, but also too blaming others in such a vague way. When we understand that blaming is a habit, we can change it. So I wanted to encourage you to go onto YouTube in your own time and listen to a really good Eagles song. It's actually called Get Over It. Play it loud. I've actually got one of the lines in that song up on the screen, and I think that everyone can apply it into their own life. So take full responsibility for your actions, learn to accept things, learn to become in control of your life, to be stronger and to face life's problems. Again, refer to the manual. There's so much great information in the manual, and we've only got limited time here today to share so much with you. So let's move on. What does it mean to respond or to react? Do you react or respond? And it seems like a pretty simple question, but do you know the difference between those two choices? Well, we've already established that nearly everything in life is a choice. So let's consider the following scenario. Is that a friend drops or knocks one of your vases and it smashes into 1,000,000 pieces. Do you respond or do you react? Now, if we choose the first option, which is to react, what happens is that those thoughts, feelings and emotions come up instantly, and we act on those emotions and feeling. And generally when we do that, we make the people feel bad, responsible. We also make them feel stupid, wrong. There's so many things from our own feelings and emotions about the event that we can portray onto other people. So reacting can be a very negative way of managing things. But if we choose to respond, which is probably the most positive choice, is that we respond in a way that we can choose the outcome to make sure that everyone is happy. So we really just have to ask ourselves a few questions. Is it really a big deal? Was it intentional? And is it worth ruining a relationship over? The tools to respond to situations in life rather than to react is simply just to give yourself some space, compassion, being aware of your tone of voice and having the ability just to let things go. In a lot of cases, people react to things in life rather than being aware of who they're being in each moment and responding to situations. So, and I mean, we're all, like I've shared with you many times in this presentation, we're all human and sometimes our emotions get the better of it. If we react, it's really simple, just apologise. So let's look at who we are being and the choices that we're making in life. We have all been given the gift of free will in order that we may use it how we wish. With that comes the opportunity to choose, to decide, to prefer whatever we want. As individuals, our choices vary enormously. This is the beauty of free will. We are all different and unique because we can choose our own thoughts. So are you willing to choose something new? Choose what you truly want to be. No matter what external circumstances are affecting you, we are always free to choose our own experiences. There are no barriers to our ability to imagine and move into a different way of being if we are willing to shift our perspective. So are you fully understanding what it means to take personal responsibility for every area of your life? I've shared this great book with you in other presentations, and I do want to share it with you again, The 4 Agreements. Leaders being leaders highly recommend reading this book. This book describes the importance of accepting personal responsibility and how to incorporate it into every aspect of your life. The 4 agreements are being impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. And always do your best. Even if you're a skeptic, and you're not sure how all this information can make a huge difference in your life, if you simply just read this one book, I can assure you that if you fully understand the principles of the 4 agreements, your life will change. You'll start to enjoy work, you'll have better relationships, and you'll really make a difference to your personal life. So let's move on to the next slide. Personal responsibility is an obligation to yourself, to oneself. It means putting a stop to blaming others and admitting and accepting that we are responsible. It is an individual duty to ensure your good character and behaviour, irrespective of how you were brought up and what kind of conditioning you have received. Individual responsibility also includes being accountable for the degree and level of your health, your wealth, success, happiness, joy, relationships. Personal responsibility is a choice. Choose to read through the manual and continue to always come back to it time and time again. Every time you pick up the manual, you will learn something new. So, as I share with every broadcast, I wanted to share with you just some words from the wise. And so, I am the source of all that I experience versus going victim and blaming others. Now, I've already shared with you some recommended readings, but let me share with you another book, Learned Optimism, How to Change Your Mind and Your Life. Remember, if you understand the process of the mind and how we store things in the subconscious, you'll better understand how you can change the way that you're living your life right now. So it's been really great to be here with you all again today. I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. Remember, so much information to take in on this subject if you've never thought about personal responsibility. So I encourage you to email any questions that you have, whether or not you feel that there's content that was missing in the presentation or you'd like to learn more, or you don't even have access to the manual. Please email us. We really want to assist you to learn from these broadcasts, to assist you not only in the workplace, but also in your personal life. So our next broadcast is called The Fish Philosophy, a very interesting one, and it actually comes from a famous fish market called the Pike Fish Market. And I'm sure that you'll enjoy this broadcast. So again, it's been great to be here with you all today. My name's Leanne O'Shea from Leaders Being Leaders. It's great to work with you all at the Community Resource Centres. Don't forget to go through your manual. I hope you've been taking lots of notes in your workbook, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.